Morning students, welcome back to the class. Today's topic is the electrical properties of the solids. Okay, what do you mean by the electrical properties? Like the conductivity and the resistivity, etc. Is it fine? So we will describe the type of the solid on the basis of the conductivity. So you know that there are three type of the materials, there are three type of the solids. One will be the conductor, second will be the insulator, third will be the semiconductor. Okay, beta. So these all are classified on the basis of the conductivity. So there is a certain range of the conductivity, and on the basis of this range we have to classify into the three parts. So the first thing is the conductors. The conductors which have the conductivity of 10 to the power 4 to 10 to the power 7 Simon per meter, or we can write down ohm inverse or the meter inverse, we can write down in that way. Now the second thing is coming that semiconductor, that means their conductivity will be ranging between the 10 to the power minus 6 to the 10 to the power 4 Simon per meter or ohm inverse or the meter inverse. And the third thing will be the insulator, which has the very less conductivity, that means it is almost less than zero conductivity. We can say that the 10 to the power minus 20 to 10 to the power minus 10 Simon per meter. Is it fine? So this is the maximum conductivity, this is almost moderate conductivity, and this will be the below zero. That means what? Obviously the resistivity will be very high in that case. Is it clear? So on the basis of this conductivity we have to classify. Now you know that we have to talk about the conductivity of the conductors and the semiconductors. So the examples of the conductors are metals. You are much aware about the metals, that these metals are having the free electrons in the outermost orbital of their atom, and these free electrons are responsible for the conduction of the electricity. Is it fine? That means the electrons or outermost electrons of the one atomic outer orbital, they will jump to the another atomic orbital. Is it fine? The outermost orbital. So in that way the electricity will be conducted, and that way the heat energy will also be conducted. Okay, so I have just tried to figure out those phenomena which is taking place in the metal conductor. These are the two, actually the atoms and the outermost orbital which I have shown, and these outermost orbitals are called as the bands. So one will be the valence band and the second will be the conduction band. So you will see that in case of the metals, the orbitals will get overlap, or they are facing each other, or they are touched with each other. Are you getting me? So either they will overlap or they will be connected with each other. So that what happened, the electrons of the outermost orbital of atom A will be shifting in the outermost orbital of the atom B. Is it fine? In that way it will be continued in the whole atoms, which are all number of the atoms, and then after the electricity will be conducted. Is it fine? So ultimately we can say that metals are good conductor of electricity because their outermost orbital, that means their bands are either overlapping or they are touching with each other, so that the electrons can be shifted easily from one band to the another band. Is it fine, student? Okay. Now, so this is the circular structure, and but in the book this is written in that way. This is shown in that way. So here it is there are two bands. So one band and this is the second band. There are two bands. So one band will be like this. So this will be the filled band. Are you getting me? So the electrons can jump from this band to this band easily because both are touching each other. And this band is actually overlapping. So here you will see that the band is overlapping to the upper one. Understood? So this is just touching the touching band, and this is the overlapping band. Okay, in both the cases the electron can easily jump from one band to the another band, and electricity will be conducted. Now come to the semiconductors. In the semiconductors you will see that the conductivity will be there, but it will be very less. Why is it so? Because the conduction band, valence band and the conduction band, they will have the small gap between them. Are you getting? So electron will require the high amount of the energy to jump from the one band to the another band. Is it fine? And if you heat the semiconductor, you know that they will have the increased electrical energy. Is it fine? So we can say that electrical energy, they can conduct the electricity when they are heated up, and the electron will get excited, and this excited electron will have high kinetic energy, so it can jump from this orbital to this orbital. Are you getting me? That's why semiconductors are also known as intrinsic conductors. Why it is intrinsic? Because heating up will increase the conductivity. Okay. Now in case of the insulators, you will see there is a huge gap between the two bands. That means either by heating or by any type of the energy, is it fine, the electrons cannot be jump from this orbital to this orbital. Is it fine? So that is the gap between them, that is called as your forbidden zone. Okay, beta. So in that way you will see that the electron cannot jump, so it will not conduct any kind of the electricity. Clear? So we will not discuss anything about the metal now. We will not discuss anything about the insulator, because in the metal they are good conductors. Why is it so? I have told you. Now we have to increase the conductivity of the semiconductors. The next topic is that. So there are two means of the increasing the conductivity of the semiconductor. The first one is by just heating them up. So due to the heating, the electron can jump from one band to the another band and the electricity will be conducted. And second method is called doping. What is the meaning of the doping? Doping is basically that we have to add certain type of the impurities in the pure semiconductor so that conductivity will be increased. Understood? Is that adding of the impurities to increase the conductivity in the semiconductor, this phenomena, this addition of impurities called as a doping. Understood? So generally in the previous time period only two group of elements were used. The one is a group number 13, that is a boron family, and the second was 15, in which the arsenic was used. Is it fine, students? So that was a nitrogen family, we can say. So now this part, if we see the configuration of the boron, is it fine? In the case of the boron configuration, you will see that the number of electrons will be 2s2 and 2p1. Are you getting me? The number of electrons in the last orbital will be 2s2 and 2p. The quantum number, the principal quantum number is 2. So that means total number of the electrons in the p orbit, s and p will be 3. So 3 electrons are there. Is it fine in that case? Now coming to the arsenic. Arsenic is having the 4s2, 3d10 and the 4p3. Are you getting me? So this will be what? 3d orbital is filled. Now how many electrons are there in the fourth quantum number? That will be 2 electron and the 3 electron. If you add these 2 electrons, that total number will be 5. So in the fourth quantum number, fourth principal quantum number, the total number of electron will be 5 and here it will be 3. So I have shown in that way 3 electrons in that way and 5 electrons in that way. Is it fine? So 5 electrons in arsenic and 3 electrons in the boron. So how the doping will be done? That is the main part. Okay, so doping will be done to increase the conductivity of the semiconductors, but the semiconductors will be produced of two kinds. The one will be the negative type of the semiconductors, or one will be the positive type of the semiconductors. Understood this thing? So negative and positive, their charge will be changed. Is it clear? So N type of the conductors and the P type of the conductors. Is it clear? So let's discuss that. How will you prepare the P type of the conductor? P type of conductor means what? P type. P type of the conductor are those conductors which are electron deficient. P means the positive. Why? When is the positive? When the negative and positive are equal, and if you decrease the number of negative charges, then you will see the positive charge will automatically dominating. So it will be of P type. So here in that it will be electron deficient species. Is it fine? So in that case we can make the P type of the conductor. So how will you prepare that? You know the germanium share the 4 electrons with the another germanium atoms. So just see that 2 electrons, one for this, second for this, again 2 electron, one for this and second for this, 2 electron, one for this and another for this, and 2 electrons, one for this and one for this. Is it fine? In that way the sharing of electron is taking place everywhere. Okay, so this is the sharing of electron. I have shown this part. Is it clear? Now what happened after the addition of the impurity? Then what will happen? One of the germanium will be shifted to the some interstitial site. Is it fine? And its 4 electron will be going with it. Is it fine? Means the germanium which was there after addition of the impurity, this place will be taken by the impurity and the germanium will be shifted in the some interstitial sites, taking its own electron. Is it fine? And it will share the electrons with any other atoms. Now suppose if you add this boron, because I need to make the P type. Is it clear? So how many electrons are there with the boron? 3. So one will be shared with this, another will be shared by this. Okay, I'm just showing with the different marker. So 3 electrons are there in boron. So 1 electron, and this one the second electron, and this will be the third electron. Understood? I say 3 electrons will be shared. Now you will see that 1 electron will be free in that. Are you getting me? So this 1 electron is responsible for the conduction of electricity. That means the electricity will be, the conductivity will be increased because of this 1 electron. So here you will see that no sharing of electron, only one free electron is there. That's why whatever number of electrons are less, so it will be considered as a P type of the conductor. Is it fine? So now come to the N type. How will you make this N type? N type is a negative type of the conductor. Is it clear, student? So N type means what? Negative type. Negative. When will be the negative? When the number of electrons will be increased. So here you will see that again the 4 electrons are shared by each and every silicon. Is it clear? Because it is also the semiconductor. Okay, students. So I have shown in that way. So electrons are shown in that way. Okay, so now if you add the arsenic, then one of the silicon atom will be shifting in the interstitial side. So suppose I have removed this silicon and taking its electron. Now if you add the arsenic, so after addition of the arsenic, I have added the arsenic here. Okay, how many electrons are with the arsenic? So you will see that 5 electrons are there. So one electron will be shared with this, another electron will be shared with this, third electron will be shared with this, second electron will be there, and extra electron will be there in that part. So if the extra electron is there, then it will be the negative type of the conductor. Now, so this will be the positive. This is the vacancy of the electron, we can say. That is also known as electron hole. Okay, so it's a vacant space, and this electron will be shifting from one band to the another band, and it will conduct electricity, and here the extra electron will be responsible for the conduction of the electricity and jumping from one band to the another band. So this will be the N type. Now after the combination of these two, is it fine, we can make the different type of the diodes, and these diodes will be used in the radio transistors and the electronic items. Is it clear? So you can make that PN junction, we can say that PN junction, okay, or we can say PNP junction diode, or we can say NPN type of this. So PNP, any positive, negative, positive, positive, negative, positive, PNP junction, and second will be the NPN junction. So you will discuss in the physics part. So one will be the reverse bias and the second will be your forward bias. In that way we can describe it. Okay, so these are the two groups which are responsible for this. But apart from that, you will see that nowadays we can use that group number 12 as well as the group number 16 elements for the doping purpose. Some oxides are there, oxide like titanium oxide, then chromium oxide, okay, and few more are there, rhenium oxide, vanadium dioxide, vanadium trioxide. These are also used there, okay, for the conductivity. In fact, another thing is that cadmium sulfide, etc. Okay, and you can see the cadmium silicate, etc. Selenite, Se. Okay, so these can be used for the doping purpose. Is it fine? And nowadays we have the good conductors, and that's why you can see that due to the good conductivity, the radios, televisions, and etc. are working efficiently. Okay, so these are the certain electrical properties of the solid. Now we will discuss the magnetic properties of the solid. Okay. So magnetic properties. You will see that magnetic properties will be coming because of the rotation of the electrons about their axis, and the electrical properties are coming because of the revolution of the electrons around the nucleus. Okay, beta. So let's discuss that the rotation, that means spinning of the electron, and spinning will be of two kinds. One will be the clockwise spinning and the second will be the anti-clockwise spinning. Okay, beta. Now if you want to find out that spin magnetic moment, that means spin magnetic moment, so that time you had the formula last year, mu is equal to that distance between that charge and this one. Okay, so that was the same formula will be used, and what was the unit? That was a Bohr magneton, BM, that will be Bohr magneton for the magnetic moment. Okay, so these are the few things. But now if you come to the magnetic properties, because of the rotation of the electrons, there are 5 types of the magnetic properties: paramagnetic, diamagnetic, ferromagnetic, antiferromagnetic, and the ferrimagnetic. Then let's discuss the paramagnetic. You will see that the most of the electrons will be paired, but very few electrons will be unpaired, and they will show the positive spinning. So if they show the positive spinning, that means they will be partially attracted by the strong magnetic field. Understood this thing? The such type of the magnetic behavior is called as a paramagnetism. So you can see that oxygen and the copper ion and the ferric ion will be showing that paramagnetic behavior. Now coming to the second one, that will be your diamagnetic. Diamagnetic means what? The most of the electrons will be paired, but one or two electrons will be free, and they will show the negative spin. Negative spin. This will be the positive spin, and they will show the negative spin. That means they will show the anti-clockwise moment. Is it clear, student? In that condition, if they are placed in the strong magnetic field, then what happens? They will be partially repelled by the magnetic field. You can give the example of the H2O, NaCl, benzene, etc. Understood? Now coming to the ferromagnetic. In that case, the electron pairing will be there, but maximum number of electrons are free electrons, and they will be showing the positive moment. Is it fine? A positive unit rotation, due to which they will be strongly attracted towards the strong magnetic field. Is it fine? So you can see the chromium oxide, etc., iron oxide, and these all the things are coming in the category of the ferromagnetism. Now coming to the anti-ferromagnetism, in which no free electrons are there, only the electrons will be showing the pairing. That means clockwise and anti-clockwise moment. That means they are neither attracted by the magnetic field nor repelled by the magnetic field. Okay, beta. And the last one is a ferrimagnetic behavior. In that you will see that if a pairing of electron is there, which is showing the positive and negative, and one will be positive, then again positive, negative, then again positive, negative. That means the more number of the free electrons are there, which will show the positive behavior. That means they are also attracted towards the strong magnetic field. So these are the 5 types of the magnetic behavior. Now if you arrange them according to their attraction, so first will be your ferromagnetism, and ferromagnetism, then which will be your ferrimagnetism, okay, and then after you will see that paramagnetism, that is on the basis of the attraction, and then after paramagnetism you will see that anti-ferro, okay, and the last one is this one will be your what is called diamagnetism, okay. So this is maximum attraction and lesser attraction and very less attraction, is it fine? And then after no attraction, repulsion, and this will be the repulsion. So this will be the order of the magnetic behavior and the attraction, okay. So after this you will see that the chapter will be finished, is it fine? And if you face any kind of that problem, so we can keep any doubt session. Is it clear, student? So let me know, or you can WhatsApp me whatever the doubts are there. Okay, thanks a lot.